English Online. We're back today with the CPE exam, and we're going to be looking at this last part of the speaking. That's right, it's the monster today. So in part 3 you have a lot of things to do. Let's have a look in detail, shall we? First thing you'll see here is, as I said, this is a bit of a monster. It's the longest part of the speaking exam here. It'll go on for about 10 to 12 minutes. Hopefully you'll be put out of your misery after about 10 minutes. And there are kind of two different stages to this, which I'll get to in a little minute. So the first thing that you're going to be asked to do is basically you're going to be given a little card and you're going to be asked to talk about something for 2 minutes, like a long turn, let's say, and each candidate will have the chance to do this. What's going to happen after both students have done this is there's going to be a discussion which will be linked to the topic of your cards as well. Everything's kind of like loosely linked, like for example they'll all be about the environment or experiences. So what's going to happen in detail is, let's just use candidate A, candidate B, shall we? Keep things really simple. So candidate A is going to be given like a prompt card with a question and some prompts that they have to talk about for 2 minutes. Yeah. And while this is happening, their partner is just sitting there listening to what's being said. After this, however, their partner will be asked a question linked to the topic. After their partner has answered a question, then candidate A will be asked to respond to what the candidate says, and this is very important, and we're going to cover this again later on. So what happens then is this will just process will repeat itself. So if the other person does the long term speaking for 2 minutes, you'll be asked a question on what they were talking about, and then they'll get a chance to respond to what you said. That is basically the long term part of the exam. Oh, if only it was that easy. So how can you do really well in this part of the exam? Well, first of all, the first hurdle in your way is have a look at this. Yes, in many other exams they want you to speak for yourself for 1 minute or 2 minutes, like in the IELTS exam, for example, and they'll actually give you, they're so generous and so kind, Cambridge, that they'll give you 1 minute to prepare for it. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is the CPE exam, proficiency from Cambridge, and you know how long you get? 10 seconds. Oh yeah, so basically you have no time to think at all. You've got time to read the question and the prompts. You can use the prompts if you wish, you don't have to, but that's it. And then the examiner is going to say, would you like to start? And most candidates are like, not really, I don't want to, but I've got to. So, let's say this is the kind of card you're going to be getting. What are the benefits of large numbers of tourists visiting the place? Local economy, the infrastructure and the culture? Okay. These are the things I can speak about if I wish. So, the first thing that you do, you start by rephrasing that question. I think there are many advantages of mass tourism. First of all, there's the fact that, and you're off. And you've just got to talk for 2 minutes. So what else can you do to help you with this part of the exam? That's right, use linking words to organize your answer. You can see a minute ago I started off with first of all, so every time you're changing point you can say as well as this. You could maybe stick in moreover, but again try and keep it as natural as possible, I think, in this exam. But use linking words, they make everything flow, make you sound more fluent, and it's just always a good thing. As you can see here, first of all, another important point or another advantage is, as well as this tourism, yeah, it just helps everything flow and it sounds beautiful because they are looking at your discourse management, how you kind of organize your answer. As well as this, use examples. This is really helpful. A lot of people really struggle speaking for 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes by themselves, and if you say something, you can back it up with an example because it helps to prove what you're saying. It helps you speak for the given time, as I just mentioned, And this is the beautiful thing about it. You don't even realize how much vocabulary, how many expressions that you are using while you do this. Usually proficiency candidates just pour them out, and it's just so good. Well, hopefully you're in that situation, otherwise you need a bit of practice. Lastly, listen carefully to what your partner says and respond accordingly. Now this is very important, because remember, you're going to speak for your 2 minutes, then your partner's going to get a question, and then the examiner's going to ask you to respond to what they said. And this is a stage of the exam that many students really don't do as well as they should, because maybe they're stressed or whatever, or they're just, oh yeah, it's a beautiful room. They're not paying attention. Listen carefully to what your partner is saying. Think to yourself, do I agree with him? What's my opinion? Because you're going to be asked. So this is the one time in this exam that you actually have some time to think, so you can really, give a good response and say, actually, yeah, I completely agree with what Chris just said. He's totally right, because, and then explain. A lot of students will fall for the trap of just saying, yeah, what Sarah said was, absolutely right. No. Explain why. Explain why you agree, why you disagree. Again, speak at length. That's what you need to do. That's how you get your high marks. As I've said, some people struggle dealing with speaking for 2 minutes by themselves, and the beautiful thing about this is you've just got to practice it. Practice speaking about a wide variety of topics. There are lots of tests and test books for CPE out there. Get hold of a few of them and just look at all these cards and practice speaking to a friend, or even speaking to a mirror, or recording yourself and listening to how you can improve. Do crazy stuff like that if you wish. Yeah, but practice speaking on a wide range of topics for sure. Take your time and speak until the examiner stops you. Why am I saying this? Because a lot of people, they're so focused on, oh, I've got to speak for 1.5 minutes, I've got to speak, have I spoken for enough time? Get the time out of your head. It's the examiner's job to worry about the time. The only thing you've got to worry about is make sure you're expanding your answers, you're using examples, you're using your linking words, and if you do all these things, you will have no problem with time. I guarantee you that. And you will find the examiner will say, okay, thank you very much, that's enough. And that's a good thing. That means you've achieved what you had to do. Thumbs up. So let's hope you're at that stage. So after both of the candidates have done their long turns, then you'll get to a further discussion, and this is just basically going to be some more complicated questions about this topic. That's all it is. And again, this is a great part of the exam, and it's a chance for you guys to really shine, okay? And you're doing the same kind of things here. First of all, expand those answers. No short one-sentence answers here. Definitely not. These questions have been specially designed, so you're either going to be looking at what the advantages of something. Maybe you're going to have to look at the advantages and the disadvantages. There's always going to be very complex things you can say here. But really, to expand the question properly, the trick here is understanding what they're asking you. Let's have a look at these questions, for example. If you're asked, what are the positive and negative aspects of tourism? That's very simplistic for this level, but anyway, it's clear here you have to talk about the positives. So talk about 2 or 3 positives. And the negatives, talk about 2 or 3 negatives, not just 1 and 1. Yeah, go for it. Impress the examiner. This is the only chance you got. Okay? Whereas, what will tourism be like in the future? Here, you're asked to do something completely different. To hypothesize and say, well, I don't know, maybe it will be like this. Potentially, we'll see that. Yeah, and again, talk about 2 or 3 things that could happen, not just 1. Expand those answers. And again, use your linking words. First of all, as well as this. Another thing that could happen. Yeah, go for it. use expressions. Now in this part, expressions are really good. They help you sound natural, and I'm talking about things like, you're going to be asked difficult things, that's for sure. So you can turn around and say, that's difficult to say, but you know, I think, and then attempt an answer. Yes, definitely, because, and explain why, for several reasons. I'm not so sure about that, since, and you can see already, there's just such a range of expressions here. They make you sound wonderfully natural, and there literally are so many of them, and you can choose the ones that you like. Don't just, you know, parrot learn 5 or 6 from a book. Try and learn a few and actually develop your own style and practice using them. So expressions, as always, are awesome. And once again, yes, I'm back to examples. There will be questions, and some of these questions you will literally have to give examples. Like that last one there, we were looking at how do you think tourism will develop in the future. Then you could give examples of this, or places where this will happen. Yeah, use examples. They really do help you get, you know, a lot more marks, be a lot more convincing, and once again you're getting all that extra grammar, all the vocabulary that you've been studying, and yes, it's going to help you expand your answers. So you've got lots to think about in this exam, lots and lots. It's a bit of a beast of a speaking exam, to be honest, but I hope this video has helped, and as usual, if you have any more questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to get in contact with us. I hope it's been helpful. Give us a like and share. Bye for now.